Introducing Instagram Teen Accounts, a new way to keep your teen safer as they grow, like making sure they always have their seatbelt on.
All right, sweetie pie, buckle up. Good job.
Or ring the bell on their bike.
Okay, kid, give it a try. Nice.
Or remember their elbow pads.
Knees too, okay? Yep. There you go.
New Instagram Teen Accounts. Automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1099, which is also an IRS form.
Hey.
June 16th, 2023. 97 degrees was the record high on this day. That was in 1933. It was 43 degrees on this day in 1961. These terribly important records are brought to you by Aquacide. They provide everything you need for a completely clean lakeshore. Aquacide products are easy to use. They work quickly. They're made right there in White Bear Lake, and they've been checked with all of the proper authorities. If you got weeds and algae and junk and vegetation littering your swimming area and the kids are freaking out, call Aquacide. Describe to them exactly what you're looking. There's a fighting chance you need some Aquacide pellets. That's what I used, and they worked. It absolutely does work. Aquacide has been keeping beaches free of weeds and algae for more than 60 years. Call Aquacide and tell them exactly what you're looking at. They'll help you understand the problem and get you the right products to take care of it. 1-800-328-9350. Also at aquacide.com.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
I'm trying to sit up straight for Jackie. Jackie up north always emails us, and she said, do you have a bad back or a bad neck? Because she always sees me sitting like this.
Well, usually your face is on top of the table because you're in disgust
and
with the rest of us.
I don't have a terribly bad back or bad neck, but man, I have to work on my sitting posture.
You had the bad back a week ago.
I've stretched myself out of the problem.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
My mom says we need to look at the camera, not look down.
Well, I have to keep up. I do this too much.
Yeah.
I don't like being on TV.
No,
I know you don't.
I told her that. We all hate it.
Oh, TV is wonderful.
Well, yeah, but I don't like it.
Let's go. What
You like it because you're a ham.
Yes. 10-second Sunny update.
Oh, no.
The number provided me by the gentleman that did a search, Mike, was the right number. I texted Sonny and said, Sonny? He said, yeah, who's this? I said, Matt from Juneau. Oh, my God, how did you get my number? Over 50 years, I haven't. So we're going to chit-chat. We've texted each other, and we're going to go out for a beer.
No, you need to write him a new letter.
I should.
But we're not bringing it to the show. Because we'll forget that we did it.
Hey, moron. My skills are a little bit better than I was at 9, so if I did write a letter, I wouldn't be.
No, that's not it. I'm sure they are. That's not it. We just got ourselves in a terrible jam with that.
Yeah. It's closure.
Proving to the world that we completely forgot about it.
The difference, Matthew, between you and, like, say, Such and I, if we received that text, we would say, wrong number.
Well, I don't think he's a GLer, but we'll make a GLer out of him.
I got a note from Bob Wolf who writes, coming out of a gas station in Alexandria, I saw a Blue Water Science decal on a big Suburban. I yelled, "Steve," to see if it could really be him. His head popped out of the window with a friendly wave like he was trying to throw a football over the mountains.
Nice.
I ran him down in the hotel parking lot for a wonderful chat about milfoil, fish counts, and, of course, GL. He then taught me how to take a selfie. What a great guy. So Bob ran into the lake detective.
Love that.
And the lake detective is hail fellow, well met.
And that's lake country up there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure the LD was on a case. There's a picture of Bob and LD.
Oh, cool.
And LD, being the technological genius that he is, taught this guy how to take a selfie.
I know right where that photo was taken. I recognize the background, and I would just like to thank the lake detective for not bothering me when he was in my part of the world.
Super 8.
Yep.
Tonight is the night. Tonight we have the sisters of Perpetual Indulgence
Oh, Lord.
taking part in a pride celebration at Dodger Stadium.
Now,
I'm going to miss it.
Are they also part of the first pitch ceremony?
I wonder. And you've got, would you please look up for me who they're playing tonight?
Yes, sir.
Is it the Nationals?
Giants, San Francisco Giants.
Is it really?
He has
That's
no
what
idea.
my story says.
Oh.
Well, because Washington Nationals pitcher Trevor Williams, is he a good pitcher?
Kenny is right. They are playing the Giants.
Well, that's going to be a sold-out house.
Yes.
Trevor Williams is a pretty good hurler, right?
Yes.
Of the Nationals, and he believes the Dodgers organization knows exactly what it's doing, and he's irritated by this. He's frustrated, and he said, "Why is my faith being offended like this?" He's already released a lengthy statement condemning the team's move and said that the group makes a blatant and deeply offensive mockery of my religion and the religion of over 4 million people in Los Angeles County alone.
Wow.
The pitcher spoke out once more about tonight's Pride Night. He was speaking with the Catholic network EWTN News and said, "We cannot stand idly by while our Lord gets mocked. And before I hit send, you try and do as much research as you can," he said. It's what they're going to do, though, and it's tonight. And I don't understand it.
There is a protest being planned by Catholics for Catholics, but they are hoping and insisting that it's a peaceful and prayerful protest. I could see how this could turn into disco demolition really quickly.
I don't. I think who's ever heading up this protest would be cognizant of the damage that could do.
But you can't control those who are protesting.
Right.
But I think their protest is just going to be, we have these signs and not in your face. We're trying to.
Well, and they will most likely have amped up police presence, security, because, that's what LA needs to focus on right now is a Dodger game.
Are you aware of the presidential candidate who's gaining some traction, whose name I'm going to have trouble pronouncing? Ram Sawani or...
the Pakistani or Indian.
Well, he's American.
Yeah, but I mean, his nationality is.
He said something, I'm going to paraphrase. He said something to the effect that people used to have as their currency money. Money was a common currency, right?
Okay, yeah.
Today, your currency is your victimization.
Oh.
And this appearance by these nutcases at Dodger Stadium is further proof that the whole LGBT community, not all of you, of course, but your activists who tend to dominate you, you're desperate to be marginalized. You're desperate to be identified as victims. Without it, you have nothing. And rather than be considered part of the human race and dealing with what the rest of us deal with, you cling to your victimization and want to be out front with that all the time. And it's tiresome. And go away. Just be you.
Right.
Just be you and lead your life.
You don't have to shout out what your current
But you're
conditions
so
are.
desperate to be special. You're not special. You're no more special than anyone else. And so the Dodgers have suffered a notch in my estimation. I suppose teams can figure out a way to be inclusive and honor everybody in the world, and sure. I understand all that. But why specifically a group this potently poisoned? Why a group that has no redeeming value whatsoever?
You know the answer to that.
I guess I don't.
They initially said, well,
they were uninvited.
They were uninvited.
And they're invited back.
And they caved to public pressure. That's exactly why it can't be
public pressure. They caved to the pressure exerted upon them by people desperate to remain victims.
Albeit a small percentage of the population.
10 of them.
How many? What? Right there. 4 million Catholics.
5
million Catholics, and they're ripping the nun stuff. And what percentage of the population are trans or queer?
It'd be fun would be to talk to somebody in their 70s or 80s, an old queen, somebody who has seen it all from the gay side of the aisle.
Right.
And I would love to get their perspective on this and what this has done, what they feel this has done to gay rights and the so-called quote-unquote gay movement, the movement for freedom and equality.
What gay rights? You have the same right as anyone else.
I know. I'm having a hard time phrasing it correctly.
I know what you mean, though.
But who was the person speaking? Was it 3 or 4 days ago? The video we're saying, "Don't do us any favors." Was that here?
I don't know.
It was a trans person that was saying.
Oh yeah, I sent that. I texted that to you, Joe.
Oh yeah, it was a video of a drag queen advising parents to keep their children away from their performances. It has nothing to do with children. We don't want any part of that. And he was speaking with some common sense. You know?
Saying you don't need to. They don't need to know that part. That's it. If they're that way, it'll come out eventually.
It was so good that I felt that this could be a fake. You know what I mean? Yeah. A straight guy dressed up. But he was too good of a queen to be a fake. When I think of a fake queen, I think of, what's the guy with the cigar from the 50s who used to put on the dress, the comedian?
Milton Berle.
Yeah, I think of Milton Berle.
What did the Dodgers need? Who did they need? They needed someone to say, go bleep yourself. Mm-hmm. You're not going to have a night at Dodger Stadium. Go ahead and be a drag queen and be a sister of indulgence, but we don't want any part of it. See you later.
What you're trying to say is they needed somebody in the organization to say, we should stay away from this, because this was pre-planned back in the offseason.
Anyway, it's tonight, and let me see something here. I'll be watching the U.S. Open. Because you get primetime golf.
Thrilling night
when
for you,
When the U.S. Open is on the West Coast.
Thrilling night for you.
You're damn right it was. Mm-hmm. I didn't watch the Survivor.
Survivor's over.
Oh. Let me see if this game's on tonight. Baseball. Nope.
You won't have that locally, sir.
Nope.
Unless you have the MLB ticket or whatever it's called.
Well, I got the MLB network.
That's different.
Uh-huh.
They do what's called regional coverage, where they go from game to game.
At 6 o'clock, of course, you're going to get the always available Yankees at Boston game. And then a couple of Apple TV games that I would never figure out how to watch. So.
Now, which matchup is this? Is this the one where the celebrities play and it's a big S show and stupid and Bill Murray's out there?
What?
This little golf contest that you're watching.
The Pro-Am?
Yeah, what is
this? This is the U.S. Open, you moron. What a moron.
Yeah, clown mouth at hole 17.
You're thinking of Pebble Beach, you dummy.
Joe, tell me everything you know about the Dream at Eldora Speedway that was run last Saturday. What do you know about that? Tell me everything you know about it.
Somebody crashed.
See, I don't expect you to know anything about my stuff. Why would you expect me and the rest of the world to give one single rat's behind?
Kenny's got a great point.
Your stupid little golf game.
Joe, right now, who's leading in ERA in the DRS League of Town Baseball, Minnesota?
How's Kyle Larson doing
Lakers.
in the sprint cars?
Ruck throwing in.
It's our national open.
hour.
Name me what season Survivor is on right now.
See, you can't do it.
Why do you spell Survivor?
Us? Why do you expect us to know or care about your
Who is
thing?
the host? Who is the host of Survivor?
I don't know.
That's criminal.
Jeff something.
What are you, Russian?
Right, Jeff something?
Commie? You frickin' commie.
Are you working for RTV?
Jeff Probst?
Go ahead, Joe. It's your show.
Yeah,
Take over.
Take it back over. You
I'm
commie.
done with the Dodgers. They're
Okay.
going to have their thing tonight, and I hope the protest remains
But you did bring
peaceful.
up an interesting point, that it'll be a packed house. And I guarantee...
It would have been a packed house without these Sisters of Indulgence.
Exactly, but it will be touted as if, look at what we did and how many people came. Well, no, you're playing your biggest rival. That's why there's 56,000 people there. on a Friday night.
We wonder sometimes what does the political class do every day? Well, they hold hearings and
meetings.
They have hearings and meetings, and what we have here is we alerted to this by an emailer, and I looked up all the players. We have audio for you. From a U.S. Senate Committee on Environment and Public Works Subcommittee on Chemical Safety, Waste Management, Environmental Justice, and Regulatory Oversight. All right. They held a hearing on the impacts of plastic production and disposal on environmental justice. So they're in Washington, and this was Reusse. Was this yesterday? This was yesterday. Yesterday. So we got up and went to work, and
sorry, this took place June 14th.
June 14th.
It was published on YouTube yesterday.
2 days.
We got up yesterday or 2 days ago and did the podcast, and these people got up, and among the tasks they had that day was to have this hearing. And the ranking member is a guy named, I have his information here. Mullen from Oklahoma. He's a senator. Wayne Mark Mullen. His first name is Mark Wayne. I'm sorry, spelled as one word. His name is Mark Wayne Mullen, Republican senator from Oklahoma. He's married. He's got 6 kids, and I think that's a key to him having some common sense.
Okay.
He's entertaining an activist named Angel Bradford. And she is in the physiology department at Tulane University. And she has listed among her hobbies volunteering with organizations leading the fight against climate crisis.
Okay.
And she's particularly interested in the idea that plastics are terribly problematic for the environment, and she wishes the production of plastics, all plastics, to stop immediately. And also heard is a woman named Donna Jackson. And let me help you find Donna Jackson. She is the director of membership development for Project 21, a Black leadership network at the National Center for Public Research. And she writes that Project 21 is one of the oldest and largest Black conservative think tanks.
Oh, okay.
Which gives
We're
her
allowed to have those?
It's terribly interesting when you hear her. She represents small business owners to law enforcement to assembly line workers to teachers to energy producers to clergy to healthcare workers. And we are not career activists, lawyers, or lobbyists, and more than a few actually live in the community they're trying to improve. We cover a wide range of issues, but our fundamental focus is lifting people out of poverty and dependence and into prosperity and self-sufficiency. So during this video, which you will hear the audio of, I will identify the players. And you may start this at any time you wish.
Chairman, Ms. Bradford, in your testimony, did I understand you right? Said that you want to end all...
Stop. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to stop it. This is Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, and he has addressed this activist named Angel Bradford. Maybe you should start it over. I'm sorry.
I said the plastics industry must be
No, start it
stopped.
over completely.
He's a conservative from Oklahoma.
Well, he's a
Testimony,
Republican.
Did I understand you right? Said that you want to end all plastic manufacturing?
I I said the plastics industry must be stopped.
So does that mean in plastic manufacturing?
I mean, in my dream world, sure, but I think that. Go ahead.
No, so I don't mean to be condescending here. I just point out what's going to replace your glasses.
She's wearing glasses.
Like,
so
how
I
would you
do
wear your
know
glasses around your face? They're made of plastic.
Maybe.
No,
I don't know what they're made out of.
They are. What about, and I'm just pointing out some things here because I just want to be realistic when we're having conversations. Because when statements are made like this, I just want to open people's eyes and say, well, okay, that's easy to say, but what's the solution? Your water bottle in front of you.
This one.
Yes. That plastic?
No.
Yes,
the lid is.
How dumb is
That's
she?
plastic.
Right. So
Right.
I would say to your
cell phone-
question that I would first be concerned about single-use plastics, and then we can talk about alternatives to this.
Your cell phone there. Is it plastic?
The cases, but it's glass because I broke
The components
the
inside of
screen
it's not
yesterday.
plastic? The components made out of it's not in plastic? They are. The water that you filled that water bottle up with, where'd you fill that water bottle up out of?
A water filling station.
All right, and it was delivered by a drink station that was plastic?
I didn't check.
The edges are. The piping coming to it. Now, you have a couple choices with the piping. We could go back to using wood, but then you have to line it in chemical. Or we could go back and use lead, because we used to have water piping that was lead. That was harmful to us. We go back to galvanized, but galvanized rust and had discoloration. We go back to copper, but copper has to be mined, and everybody wants to stop mining in the U.S. So you use plastic to deliver piping that you fill that water bottle up with today. I point this out because the clothes you have on, I guarantee you have plastic in it. The shoes you have on your feet, the soles of those shoes are plastic. So we talk about any plastic manufacturing, and everybody in here cheers when you say that, but everybody here is depending on plastic as you set. So if you want to end it, then quit using it. It's kind of like I don't shop at certain places right now because I don't agree with some of their policies. I choose not to do that. You can choose to not use plastic. Do your work. If you believe it, then live it that way. And if not, then tell me what the solution is. Mr. Sunday, can you manufacture a car today without plastic? Because we talked about manufacturing. Sherman brought up manufacturing cars as it is safe. But the components that go into the cars today, can you do that without plastic?
No, Senator, and increasingly so with the new mileage mandates. You increasingly need to use automotive components that are plastics derived.
So we wouldn't have manufacturing, today's modern manufacturing, if we didn't have plastics, correct?
Correct.
Ms. Jackson, do you agree with that statement?
Yes.
This is Donna Jackson of the
So
conservative
what's the
think
alternative
tank.
for manufacturing? Because the Democrats talk about middle-class wages. Middle-class wages typically come directly from manufacturing. What is it that we're manufacturing that doesn't have plastic in it today?
Nothing. And you know what? It would increase the cost of everything if we turn to an alternative, and it would disproportionately impact low-income people who have lower incomes. It would be another regressive tax on the poor.
So according to your testimony, Ms. Jackson, it sounds like you're saying that the environmental justice agenda does more harm than good for low-income families. Is that correct?
Yes. And, you know, I have the unique opportunity to see both sides when the industry comes in the area and when it doesn't. As an auditor, I worked on Nissan North America. Mm-hmm. Nissan North America moved to Smyrna, Tennessee, where it built the largest automotive manufacturing plants. And the transformation was astonishing. I mean, it went from a community that was poor to a community that U.S. World News voted one of the top 10 places to retire. You had poor people in areas that were poor that became middle class. You had middle class people that became upper middle class, and a lot of upper middle class people that became affluent. They have attractions. They have amenities, they have housing, affordability. I mean, the amount of prosperity in that area has resonated out 3 counties. 3 counties. I've also had the opportunity to see when an industrial, and that wouldn't happen if you don't have an industrial complex moving into the area where you're talking about high economics. I've also seen the other side where all of a sudden you have deteriorating buildings, empty storefronts, dilapidated housing, people standing on street corner housing, that families that are broken. So we need to balance the fact that people's lives need economic upward mobility. And we can't just say, we're going to take out an industry and leave people poorer than they were. Poverty causes the worst health care in this country. Poverty is the one that destroys lives. It destroys health. It creates trauma. So we need to make sure that when we're talking about these issues, we take into account the human loss of life, not just the environmental impacts.
Thank you. Thanks for indulgence there.
Isn't that wonderful?
Did we ever hear back from the little hippie chick?
Nope. Not in this clip.
Not in that clip. She is a young, attractive female who has been at the failed academy,
Somehow got off track.
and she has this ridiculous notion that we should end the production of plastic. And it was pointed out to her how
hypocritical she
how
is.
unlikely that could possibly be. And
but her only comeback was, well, I'm only talking about single-use plastics. Well, you just don't get how things work.
No. And then the automobile guy who weighed in, he captures why liberals, euphorians can't link. In order to meet the constantly delivered to Detroit auto standards and to meet mileage requirements, cars have to have been kept getting lighter and lighter and lighter. And the only way to do that is to lighten the materials you use to build them. And in many cases, that's the use of plastics. And now plastics are used in the manufacturing process anyway. But the manufacturers are discovering new ways to use plastics because of the weight. And here is this meaningless activist. She just offers nothing to the world, brings nothing to that room in Washington, D.C., except her belief that we don't need plastic. Well, she's just wrong.
But she'll be in office relatively soon.
There's just no way that she can even be considered to be on the right track. She has nothing going for her. She brings nothing to the conversation. There's a lot of plastics at EcoFun Motorsports.
Well,
that's okay.
Before you move on, what about plastic bags? You and I hate them.
Yeah, but we do what Mark Wayne Mullins said. You make a choice. Then don't take the plastic bag. I rarely ever take a plastic bag at a store. If I'm just buying a couple of items, I'll just carry them.
I'm part of the problem. I kill about a 6-pack of these every day.
I'll drink bottled water, and I recycle the bottles.
That's why you need Hofferman, Connecticut.
They all get recycled.
Are we doing
I'm doing
EcoFun?
I'm doing EcoFun.
Intertwining here.
Yes,
But,
Kenny?
I mean, those 2 items alone, the hippie chick might have a little bit of a point. The plastic bags, the plastic water bottles that I, admittedly use.
Well,
anyway.
I don't see what her point is. Her point can be, I'm going to choose never to buy a buy a plastic bottle of water.
In the beginning of her speech, she said, "In a perfect world, yes, I would like to abolish."
But that's the problem with the activists.
Right.
The fantasy nature of their wishes.
The world has never been perfect.
It just doesn't work that way.
Ever. Yeah.
Well, I was mentioning the plastics at EcoFun. Well, they're highly attractive. I mean, my scooter's got some plastic components that give it a great look, and electric bikes at EcoFun Motorsports employ plastics. But EcoFun Motorsports is important because right now everything's on sale. 400 e-bikes in stock Kalen Bloom will take you out to the parking lot. They have a great big parking lot, perfect for test driving. Get the right size and the right equipment of electric bike you need.
You'll pick it up right away.
And all the scooters that turn urban errands into adventures, top-flight motorcycles, ATVs, golf carts, great youth recreational equipment, helmet and apparel, and it's just the fun stuff of life. It's great toys. Get out there this weekend. What a great weekend for riding. We've got clear air and warm temperatures, and EcoFun has all of the recreational equipment you want. And when you ride an e-bike, you'll discover why you've been behind everyone else. They just take off if you need them to. Take off. It's EcoFunMotorsports.com. It's EcoFun Motorsports in Forest Lake on Highway 97, just west of Interstate 35, and in Burnsville. EcoFun Motorsports on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42.
Not a Garage Logic Town Council member? Here's what you're missing.
So I've avoided it for 7 weeks, but today I bought my first pack of gum.
Did you read the email from the sales guy, Ron?
Yeah, I talked to him about it. His name isn't Ron. For $100.
His last name's Ron. Well, I got that right. You did.
So I've discovered what chewing gum does.
Nothing.
It makes you cocky because you got this.
Hey, how you doing, huh?
You know, it makes you got a problem. Hey, old man.
Hey.
You gonna step up? You want to dance, old man?
Yeah.
Let's go.
You see that with a lot of youth baseball coaches, Kenny. They do the gum chewing.
Chewing the gum.
Hey. Watch a pitch here.
Go behind the scenes of Garage Logic with unfiltered audio and video access, invites to exclusive events, an emailed newsletter from the mayor himself, and more by signing up at GarageLogic.com.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
North American Banking Company. They've been around since 1998 when they opened their first location. They made a promise to deliver a better banking experience for their customers where you know your banker and they know you. Well, a lot has changed since then. This commitment to being a true community bank in the Twin Cities has not. They have 6 locations to serve you. My location, where I opened my account, is in Roseville. You can also see them at 50th and France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and their new location, which is right there in Maple Grove. Now listen, they offer the same online and mobile banking options as the other banks, but with the service and commitment of a community bank. And North American Banking Company is locally owned and operated, which means loan decisions are made right here in the Twin Cities, not shipped out of state. This helps business owners solve problems and expand their business with confidence. North American Banking Company deals with numbers every single day, but you are never going to be one of them. So check them out online if you would like. nabankco.com. nabankco.com. That's their website. And they are fantastic. And I am a customer of North American Banking Company and will continue to be. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, and equal housing lender. Mr. Mayor.
Yes?
We forgot to promote the 30th anniversary Garage Logic.
We didn't
shop.
forget
We just didn't do it yet.
You just didn't do it yet.
You're right. I forgot to say something at the beginning.
I
of the
already am
program.
getting emails from people around the country who are ordering from the
You're kidding.
Garage Logic.
Oh, that's cool.
Hey,
merchandise.
If you're on the town council,
Look at that knack, baby.
This
I'm
knack,
so mad I didn't
this
get that.
knack hoodie is so cool.
I think I got a knack hoodie.
Did you get one?
Yeah.
I'm so mad I didn't order that one.
Well, Ross gave me a couple. I didn't. I think it's a knack. One of them's a knack.
I ordered a pullover, but he gave me a T-shirt. Is it rude for me to say?
I want the Failed Academy T-shirt. I have to
got
go
the
buy.
fireworks
I'm going to buy
commissioner.
one.
So here's the thing. We're going to be updating the selection throughout the summer, adding a few items here and there. The current assortment is as follows and available in both T-shirts, long sleeve tees, hoodies, and women's sizes. The standard GL hooded sweatshirt that all of you GLers have seen a million times, which is always very popular. As Kenny just mentioned, the Knack Hardware. There's the 2-Cycle AutoWorks, Universitai of Garage
That's
Logic.
the best one. I'm sorry, but that's the best one. That's the best
That's
sweatshirt.
the one I
that's
ordered.
the best pullover.
Yep,
That's the best T-shirt.
That's the one I got, and I do like it. Also, the GL Fire Department, and as Joe mentioned, the Failed Academy. Town council members receive a 10% discount, and they should look for their email, for a promo code. It's very cool, and it's online at GL.
Are there hats?
No hats with this particular sale, and also no flags, because we got a ton of email about GL flags, and all I can say is We're
It's
working
in the
on
works.
it.
Did
We're
you
working
remember
on
to
it.
say, Paige, can you please schedule this on the spreadsheet?
Oh, wait, I don't.
We don't have to promote that?
I don't think we
Okay,
have to
that's
say that
page
part of
2.
it. That's from Ross.
Got it.
Yeah.
To review, we just heard a bit of a hearing on the use of plastics. And a principal was a guy named Mark Wayne Mullen. It turns out he won a special election in Oklahoma to serve the remainder of Jim Inhofe's term. He's a Native American, member of the Cherokee Nation.
All right.
In fact, he's the second member of the Cherokee Nation to serve in the Senate. The first was a guy named Robert Latham Owen, who retired in 1925. So this evil, cruel country had Native Americans in the Senate in 1925. And he, among the people in the room, was a young activist named Angele Bradford, who wants to eliminate the manufacturing of plastic. And she had to be educated. And not only was she educated by Senator Mullen, she was educated by a woman named Donna Jackson, also a black woman, who turned to this young woman and said, basically, honey, you don't know how the world works.
But wasn't it a ray of hope also that he disagreed with her and he said, I'm trying not to be condescending here. I think he presented it very...
He did.
In a great way, respectful way.
Well, he did, and he had the right answer.
And there was no shouting?
No, he had the right answer for all activists. If you don't want to use plastic, don't use it. Try to minimize it in your life.
The gal's explanation of achieving the American dream, basically, to me, was fast.
Donna Jackson.
Levels of incomes benefited.
Yeah.
The poor
because
became
a
middle
Nissan
class, the
plant
middle class
moved to
became
Smyrna,
upper, and
Tennessee.
so on and so on.
What happened to Kenny? Is he about on 7 seconds behind us now?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Huh.
Yeah, we're
All
good.
right. Well,
We're
in any
caught up.
that was wonderful. That was wonderful news.
The Nissan plant, though, she was spot on with that. That was remarkable. A remarkable comeback.
Well, let's stick to the economy. I've had this story sitting in front of me. I've been waiting for a slot.
Okay.
I have the slot.
What's the slot?
You got a Seattle-based ice cream company, Molly Moon's, homemade ice cream.
Okay.
All right. It's suing. Apparently, it's suing the city for extensive property damage that it suffered from a Black Lives Matter zone, CHOP, in 2020. Remember when CHOP was in the news?
Oh, yeah.
In the summer of 2020, rioters created an anti-police zone that was initially called the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, CHAZ, but was later renamed the Capitol Hill Occupied Protest, CHOP. As a result, KUOW reported protesters took over a 10-block area surrounding a Molly Moon's location. Molly Moon's got an ice cream store.
Funny name.
3 years later, Molly Moon's filed a lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Washington to sue the city for ignoring its constitutional rights because police chose to abandon the CHOP zone to rioters. We went through this past couple of summers. The CEO of Molly Moon's, Molly Moon Neitzel, told Fox News Digital, because maybe you're not going to see this in the Washington Post. The CEO of Molly Moon's, Molly Moon Neitzel, told Fox News Digital that it did not want to undermine the message of racial equity through its lawsuit. At Molly Moon's, we hold race equity at the top of our list of priorities. Remind me, Rook, to address the word equity when I finish this. Write it down and bug your mayor. Bug your mayor. At Molly Moon's, we hold race equity at the top of our list of priorities for how we want to make the world better. Black Lives Matter. The lawsuit filed Wednesday, June 7, is not meant to undermine that important message. It's seeking compensation for the significant revenue losses and team morale impacts we experienced during and for many months after CHOP caused by the city of Seattle's decision to affirmatively create and assist the CHOP occupation of Capitol Hill, to abandon the police precinct, and to stop responding to public safety needs in our beloved Capitol Hill community, Neitzel said. And she's being very careful here. She's trying to have her cake and eat it too. The lawsuit claims that it does not seek to undermine CHOP participants' message or present a counter message. See, she's really walking a tightrope here.
Yeah. Right.
She's 30,000 feet above the ground on a tightrope. She's saying, I love the fact that we're fighting the man, but fighting the man is costing me money.
Right. I'm really angry, but I don't want to upset anybody else.
Rather, the suit continued, this lawsuit is about Molly Moon's constitutional and other legal rights of which were overrun by the city of Seattle's decision to abandon and close off an entire city neighborhood, leaving it unchecked by police, unserved by fire and emergency health services, and inaccessible to the public at large, and then materially support and encourage a hostile occupation of that neighborhood. And she seems to want to differentiate between her constitutional rights and her emotional rights.
Okay.
Emotionally, she wants us to really understand she's all for these people. But damn it, they violated my constitutional rights.
Right.
The lawsuit also alleges that the city of Seattle's failure to protect its residents from the protests subjected businesses, employees, and residents of that neighborhood to extensive property damage, public safety dangers, and an inability to use and access their properties. Molly Moon's lawsuit comes after public and repeated endorsements of the BLM movement in Seattle and around the country. On the company's Instagram page, there are multiple posts celebrating leaders in the BLM movement, including Nikita Oliver, a lawyer who identifies as non-binary.
Oh, okay.
What does that have to do with it, I wonder?
But
they love to be marginalized.
Irrelevant.
Molly Moon has also shared posts on voting with a felony, promoting access to safe abortions, and in support of Pride Month. The ice cream company is just one of multiple parties suing Seattle for its failure to prevent businesses and residents from damages, danger, and even death resulting from CHOP back in 2020. A father who lost his teenage son in Seattle's CHOP zone also sued the city. In his suit with Ocean and Associates this month, Antonio May Sr. said the city was well aware of violence in CHOP, but had abandoned it without a working plan to provide essential services. His 16-year-old son, Antonio Mays Jr., was fatally shot after he traveled there from California for what he thought was a peaceful protest in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. Sadly, Antonio soon realized there was nothing peaceful about CHOP, the suit states. The city's attorney's office did not respond to requests from comments from Fox News. Okay, here's what we're learning. Let's just stick to Molly Moon. Molly Moon is run by a hippie who probably has maybe there, you could even look it up. How many Molly Moon stores are there? She has more than one. And in the store they have in the what was known as the CHOP zone, she lost, I would imagine she virtually lost all business. And it struck her that, look, I'm in favor of all this. I'm in favor of BLM, and I'm in favor of the protests, and because we hate capitalism, except I'm a capitalist and I'm losing money. So what do? Well, I'm going to file a lawsuit, but I'm going to go out of my way to tell you how important I think it is to have abortions and be non-binary and all of the other buzzwords that they have to check off all the boxes for their progressive credentials.
9 locations.
She has 9 locations. And in this location, and she's probably doing very well.
Some of them aren't even open yet.
Really?
Yeah, I was going to get to that. They had plans for some of those locations, but they're not open.
So Molly Moon is a phony, but she's trying not to be.
I mean, open for business today. Some open at noon. One opens at 3 p.m. Another one opens soon, 11 a.m. We're talking Seattle.
We were in Seattle a year ago, and we went to an ice cream spot. And
Maybe you went to a Molly Moon.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if it was one of these locations.
Was it plastered with Mysterian nonsense?
No, but I was advised by someone we used to work with who worked in that area that said avoid this area, which included the CHOP zone, and he was 100% right.
It's funny how the activism ultimately, and this we should be grateful for. It's funny how activism ultimately will run into the courts, and so long as we have sane a sane judiciary, America continues to hang on. As long as we have a sane senator confronting an empty-headed activist about plastics, America hangs on. And here's a case where Molly Moon, probably to the disappointment of her friends, said, I can't do this anymore. We're going to have to sue the city because they completely abandoned us. And she's suddenly citing her constitutional rights,
right,
bearing in mind that if she is an authentic Mysterian, she would believe that the Constitution was flawed and founded by evil white guys who were flawed. And yet it's such a perfect document that it even comes to the rescue of Molly Moon. And Molly Moon desperately needs it. Now for the word you're supposed to remind me of.
Equity.
I think I'm going to paraphrase Walter Hudson, the local rep in Minnesota.
Who joined us a few weeks ago.
Equity, we've been through this a million times, but it really needs to be remembered. Equity, all equity means is equal outcomes. Well, you can't have equal outcomes arbitrarily, because what equal outcomes do is remove the freedom of individual achievement. You can't have individual competition and individual freedoms and equal outcomes.
It doesn't work that way.
Because they don't exist.
Right.
So all equity has come to mean is equal outcomes, but equal outcomes don't work, which is part of the mystery. They want equity. And if you're going to want equity, then what you have to abandon is individual liberty and a competitive nature. Because once you stick to individual liberty and a competitive nature, it is true. It can only be true that outcomes will not be equal. Right?
Right.
Right. Yep.
End of story. Equity is might sound great, but you're being led down the wrong road if you believe in equity. Equity is what you have in your house. It has nothing to do with what you achieve or your status in life. That is what you earn.
You've used the example before, but one realtor reminded us, equity is what you have in your house unless you refinance.
Right. And then Donna Jackson would say, you'll have equity in your house once prosperity starts to lift you up because an industry moved to town and you got a job. Maybe it's a plastic manufacturing plant. Because name me a product that doesn't have plastic in it. And you could even take the plastics argument deeper by pointing out that it requires petroleum.
Oh, good one.
Wasn't that the case when Biden took office and wanted all the plastic sheets in front of everybody and said, we're banning all fracking? Does someone want to point out to Joe that that's how you make plastic?
So Molly Moon, welcome to the real world.
She announces wage transparency on Equal Pay Day.
Right.
I mean, she's all that foo-foo.
Well, she's a mysterious.
This was in 2019.
Do you think, though, that she's saying that because she's finally come to the realization that, oh, my God, everything I've believed in has basically turned against me as a business owner?
Yes.
Or do you think she's still trying to save face? Hey, leave me alone. Look, I'm with you guys.
So she's trying to
so
save
many
face.
did here in the Twin Cities during the Floyd riots.
She's trying to save face by pointing out that I believe everything the people in CHOP believed, but the police let us down. I have constitutional rights too. Well, of course you do, Molly, and you've come to realize that, and now it's the Constitution of the supposedly flawed country that you're relying on so that you can start making a living again.
Right.
So don't be a phony, Molly. Join the club. Join reality. It's just amazing that the activists ultimately will run into the law. It takes a long time. It's taking longer. But when it happens, America is still saved to some extent. And this equity thing is utter B as in B, S as in S. It means nothing. It means equal outcomes. But you can't have equal outcomes and have individual liberty and a competitive nature.
You know, I was with you right up until now because I just looked at Molly Moon's flavors and their seasonal selections.
All right. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I was gonna recommend to Rook, don't go to the website because you're gonna find yourself on Molly Moon's side.
Joe, she's got citrus sherbet. I'm a big sherbet guy.
Joe, these ice creams look so good.
I didn't say I wasn't on Molly Moon's side. You're not listening carefully to what I'm saying.
We are. I went to the blog portion because I thought I'd be able to find some, propaganda, and all I'm finding is ice cream.
Kenny, blueberry pie.
Blueberry pie ice cream?
Oh, my God. I might have to drive to Seattle and get some.
No, I'm all for the Molly Moons of the world. I say, join the real world, which you just apparently have done so by filing a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Joe, do you want to join the club?
No.
Okay.
What club?
The Molly Moon fan club?
Be a member of what?
Of what?
I'm sure spring topping, strawberry rhubarb sauce, and white chocolate blondie bites.
Joe, I think you might have lost us.
We're going to Seattle.
Ooh, salted caramel.
I don't like caramel.
I sent a text to my sister-in-law who lives in Seattle, and she's never heard of it.
We'll have her box up some frozen Molly Moons for you and have it shipped here.
She'll be listening to this evening. Message has been delivered.
Yeah.
She has a Sasquatch flavor, but it's blurry.
Did they say that on there? Because if they did, that'd be clever.
That would be clever.
They're not that clever.
They're not that clever.
No. Sasquatch, blurry.
It's blurry. Blurry ice cream.
I'll tell you what they don't have in Seattle.
What?
They ain't got a Grunhoffers.
No, hell no.
Minnesota has Grunhoffers. You know the GL sign and the Rookie Burgers back up on the signboard on Highway 61, north of Hugo at Grunhoffers Old Fashioned Meats. Oh, can you imagine this Father's Day weekend and the rush to Grunhoffers to load up? We're having brats. We're going to go brats.
Are you?
Brats, burgers, everything you need is at Grunhoffers. Every possible thing you need for Father's Day weekend, including, I never talk about this, but they have cheeses there.
Okay.
Oh, cheeses.
They have fish, they have chicken, chops, steaks, burgers, ham, bacon. Everything you need is at Grunhoffers Old Fashioned Meats, and I have told you before that the people behind the counter wearing the aprons, they can help you with anything you need to know about grilling and cooking and making some of the best meat products you'll ever taste in your life. It's all Minnesota-grown beef from Minnesota farmers.
For Father's Day.
Look what he looked up. Look what he looked up.
Grunhoffers on what is his Instagram. Brisket, brats, steaks, chops, burgers, bacon. And boy, does that meat look absolutely delicious.
It is. It's the best.
Great barbecuing.
It's Grunhoffers Old Fashioned Meat. It's in Hugo. Right north. Well, actually, it's north of Hugo. On Highway 61. Look for the sign out front.
Yep.
And it's in Forest Lake on Highway 97, immediately east of Interstate 35. So make it a great Father's Day weekend. Stand around the grill and smell that aroma of Grunhoffers old-fashioned meats.
Yeah. Hey, Such, have you heard of Minnesota Masonic Charities?
I have.
Okay. Why?
Because you advertise them, and I know some of the people involved with it. It's a hell of an organization.
It really is. They are good people, and that's exactly why they're getting the word out right now. They are wonderful, wonderful givers. Yes, they give at Minnesota Masonic Charities. If you'd like to learn more about their organization, it's not just the funny hats and the secret meetings and the handshakes, etc. Yeah, there's some of that, but that's not what they do. That's not their main focus. Their main focus is helping out the needy, and they do that, young and old. mnmasoniccharities.org is the website. I invite you to poke around there so you can see some of the good work they do. All sorts of great stuff, different services, philanthropy, student scholarships. You can read all about it on the website, mnmasoniccharities.org. And as Suchi Boy said, they do have very good people, solid people that are helping the people that need a little bit of something extra in life, and they're not worried about government intervention. Nope. They get together, they do the meetings, they raise the money, and then they help people out. You can be part of that by calling 952-948-6200, 952-948-6200. Plus, check out some of the scholarships. You may know someone that needs to apply for these scholarships because they have money to give. mnmasoniccharities.org.
GK Mags has been on Old 8 in New Brighton since 1999 with an experienced staff, good selection, and fair prices. GK Mags is a safe and legal place to sell your unwanted firearms, whether it's an oldie from grandma's estate or maybe something you just don't want, need, or like. GK Mags, they can buy 1, 2, or the whole kit and caboodle if you have a small arsenal. GK Mag's a full-service gun shop offering new and used firearms, gunsmithing, maintenance, and storage services if you need a safe place to stash your firearms, either short or long-term. You log on to dkmags.com for more information on ordering, selling, or storing firearms. GK Mags, speaking of ordering, they can help you find and order that hard-to-find firearm you might be looking for. Monticello Pawn and Gun, also a part of the DK Mags family. They not only buy and sell firearms, they also buy and sell just about anything else. A fun little shop. Monticello Pawn and Gun and DK Mags on Old 8 in New Brighton.
Well, what do you think so far of the U.S. Open?
They gave him too much fairway. There. It's too easy. It's hard to hit it in the rough there. You got to really hit it crooked, and so that's how you shoot 62. You're not supposed to shoot 62s in the U.S. Open. But
Pat, now that I know where that place is, and now that you know where it is, we've both driven by it 20 times and not even known it was in there.
I once drove through it, actually, on Wilshire, just because I did know it was in there.
I didn't know.
You have no idea that that you're driving through that much money, I'll tell you that.
Is that where the famous line, "Do you live around here"?
No, that was Pebble Beach.
Oh. No, that was Pebble Beach, which is more expensive than this, probably. I don't know.
Do you live around here?
But
I think that I read this is the most exclusive club in the country, and their policies make Augusta look like a public course.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
As far as getting on there and play, well, you know who's played it about 5 times? Our friend Chad Hartman.
Really? Who's he? He must know somebody.
Well, the NBA, he used the when he was traveling with the Timberwolves. They had some in out there, and they would Jim Peterson and him and some of those guys would get to play it once in a while. I think they mostly played the South Course, so I don't know if they got on the North Course. So,
can you guys explain something to me, both of you? And I'm not trying to belittle you or make a joke here.
Ooh.
Why, both of you, Joe and Pat, why do you find this attractive? Why does this appeal to you guys?
Well, I love the game of golf. I play golf, and I find it fascinating. I'm a big fan.
Here is the great part of golf, Kenny. The place you play is more important than who's playing. It's or at least as important. Every other sport, okay, you have a goofy wall in Fenway.
Yeah,
you see that all the time. But golf is the reason it was so much fun to ride and so much fun to watch is it's two different things. It's the athlete, but it's also the test is constantly changing where they're going, and sometimes it's the wind is blowing, the rain is you're playing it outside on this fantastic land, and heck, we're learning about geography here watching this tournament because you got what do they call it, a barranca?
Barranca. Yep.
They basically got a ditch that runs alongside 8 of the holes on the front and then 2 more on the back. And you don't want to hit it in that ditch. They might have a rattlesnake in that ditch.
Pat, I've got a barranca that runs in the field next to my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have a green throw on it and 18 holes there. So.
And Kenny, in the case of this place, it's so exclusive and so unknown that America is getting its first look at it, not to mention 90% of these pros have never played this course.
Mm.
Yeah.
These people in the stiff-ironed white collars are thinking, let's have them on here and humiliate them, and then Fowler and Schauffele shoot 62.
Right.
Yeah, 2017 they had a Walker Cup. That was basically the first time they let the riffraff get out there and play on it. But boy, it's a tough place to try to watch golf, isn't it? Because of the Boranka and everything. I mean, the people are. Nobody's around the greens or anything because you can't get over there.
They got about 20,000 in there tops.
That's all they're putting on there.
Yeah.
But these three courses are all lined up right there, right next to each other. Like a mile apart or so. You got the two LA Country Club courses, then you got Bel Air, then you got Riviera. They're all, first time the U.S. Open's been there since Riviera at 54. So,
and you know what, Pat? The L.A. Country Club does not allow celebrities as members. Good. They live on the course, and they can look at the clubhouse, but they ain't getting in.
Wow.
And you know what else? You know what that means? From the 1920s? No Jews.
Well, they do now have Jewish members and black members.
They do have Jewish members and black members, but back then it was to keep the Hollywood.
Well, of course. Of course.
The Jewish folks who came and basically created Hollywood were not invited to play the L.A. Country Club.
So wait a minute. Didn't you say Lionel Richie lives on the course?
Lives on the course in a house about the size of a hotel.
But he's not a member?
Not a member.
Oh, wow.
Chambly, I don't know, does he even play? But Chambly had a pretty good note. He says, all those great songs he wrote. And,
Lionel Richie.
Put out Lionel Richie. He says, that must have been pretty profitable.
Right.
They had this house taken up.
Gorgeous place overlooking the course.
What would you do with that?
He probably sneaks out there at night every once in a while with the 9-iron.
Practices chipping.
Right.
No, but you should be, have a house like that. You should be a wild party guy. Was Lionel a wild party guy?
I don't know.
I don't really
Your
think
friend
so.
Ronald Reagan was a member.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay, well, sure, yeah. But he probably, probably didn't. Don't invite too many people to play with you. I don't know what it is. But, it's amazing. One of the holes is backed up the Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
Right across the other side.
Really?
Yes. And one of the holes is the site of the Playboy Mansion.
Well, Jesus, now I'm going to have to watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
It's right in the middle of a neighborhood, Beverly Hills.
And so are the other two, Riviera.
Yeah,
and, Bel Air. The pro at Bel Air, Dave POTUS, used to be Easy Dave at Minneapolis Golf Club.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you could if you wanted to play and you happened to be a sport writer, Dave would sneak you on at Minneapolis. I don't know if he can do that at Bel Air, however.
Well, there was a year where you played Woodhill more than most of the members.
That was my famous story on Tuesday.
Yep.
On a Tuesday, Wheelock Whitney had me out there to play, and he said, "Come on, let's take a picture. You can take a picture here of you playing Woodhill." And I said, "Well, that'd be great, Wheelock, but I did play here yesterday." On the Monday free-for-all.
Well, didn't you run into some Vikings owners who were disgruntled that you were hauling yourself?
Hedrick had me banned. Yeah, I didn't play there for 4 or 5 years. Hedrick Cheryl Johnson had in her column that the only Woodhill members not invited were the other Viking owners.
Yep.
And he blamed me. His wife blamed me for leaking that note to CJ. And, she was right. I thought that was still a terrible assumption to make, even though it was correct. Right. I thought it was a very bad assumption to make. But, by then I was tired of playing. I always said, I'm tired of playing.
I'm tired of playing.
Anyway, Phil, I went to Woodhill. I'm playing enough. So,
all right.
Anyway.
I have been waiting all week to unleash this on all four of you. Are you ready? I discovered a new Twitter account. Kenny, you're going to love this. It's called the Hockey Samurai Twitter account. Mm-hmm. They post clips of old fights and old press conferences and old... So you guys are familiar with the psychopath known as Don Cherry. He used to coach the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, he had lost his second consecutive Stanley Cup final to the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
And in the post-game presser of that Game 7, he was being interviewed by CKGM, which is Montreal Radio.
Right.
And he was asked about the matchup between the Bruin and the Canadian.
End. When's it all going to end? You could just see when it was 3-1. One little mistake. Just waiting when it was 3-1. When's it going to end? I know how Williams feels now.
I guess a fellow like Rick Middleton really wanted to play badly against the Rangers.
Yeah, well...
Well, if you'd have won, you'd have been playing the Rangers.
Yeah, if my aunt had nuts, she'd be my uncle.
What?
Oh, I got to write that one down.
He said that on the post-game presser.
He'd say anything.
Oh,
Cherry was unhinged.
I had to rewatch that. Did he really just say that?
Oh yeah. Hey
said,
Pat, that long suffering Las Vegas crowd finally got a cup, huh?
They get their cup. Wasn't that nice?
Isn't that nice after 6 years?
One guy had a big sign up there. We've waited 6 long years.
Pat, when you look at that long slog to the cup and you look at the way that the Vegas team was built and the Florida team was built, can you even see it happening here?
Well, sure, but I don't know why. I don't know what else is needed here. I think anything is possible in hockey because, as I say, you play to 3, but they're a ways away now. That's for sure. And now they got 2 years of cap hell to go through, so it's not gonna be happening too soon. That's for sure.
Tkachuk played with a broken sternum.
Yeah.
In game 4, he had to have his uniform put on him. He had to have his skates laced up by somebody else, and he went out. He clearly shouldn't have been playing. He didn't really contribute.
Yes.
And then in Game 5, he finally said, I can't put the uniform on.
And yes, in Game 4, even with all those ailments, he tried to swing his stick and take somebody's head off
right.
in the fight after the game. So he that was his one last act to try to decapitate somebody. Boy, he would have been a great Broad Street bully.
Yes, he would.
God, yes.
Oh, man, he would have been in the middle of all of it. But the poor old Panthers, by the end, they had about 6 guys hurt, didn't they? Yeah,
and what did they have? Did they have 9 days off? I don't think that's beneficial.
They had a long time. Yeah, they did. But I don't know. To heal up, maybe it should have been. Didn't they win? Which one did they win? Game 1?
They won a game. No, they won a game at home.
Yeah, Game 3.
The first game home.
Oh, Game 3.
Game 3. Yeah.
Okay. That's right. They lost the first 2 in Vegas.
How about your Twins? They lose to lowly Detroit.
God, I was so mad last night.
Detroit had lost
13.
Lost 13 out of 15.
Pat, what the hell happened to Jorge Lopez? What happened?
I have no idea. He was unhittable in April. He's unusable now. He's almost a release candidate. Every breaking ball he throws is screaming, hit me, hit me. It's awful. I don't know.
Pat, he gave up a ringing double to their 9-hitter, which I believe up until last night was hitting about 113.
Yeah, I don't know. He's unusable. How about him hooking Sonny, though, after 4? What was that about?
I think Sonny took it well, though. I think he took it well.
Sonny. I like Sonny. Basically, he's the only guy that says this is BS. And then it made him feel a lot better when Moran came in and immediately gave up 3 runs. That went over well. So, their bullpen is... So got some ungodly. This is one of their rare losses when they scored 4 or more runs. They were like 27-9 when they scored 4 or more runs, which tells you how often they haven't scored 4 runs. So, but that was a bad loss to say.
They sure are drawing well suddenly.
Yeah, what happened?
You get nice weather and they're in the race.
Well, you get the Brewers in town too. That'll help.
2 games and one a day game.
What happened? Paul Douglas was telling me it was going to be 90 this week. What happened? It's freezing out.
Climate change, Pat. Climate change.
Yeah. Well, it changed the other way. What? Something that the Alberta thing didn't come down. Did it?
Smoke in the air, keeping it cool.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
No, it'll warm up. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
This is how it's going to be the rest of the summer, Pat. Nice and cool. Highs in the 70s.
Kenny's
what
calling
an
it.
overrated thing that smoke in the air was. God almighty. You know. Okay, if you got asthma, stay in the house. Shut up.
Patrick, I wish you were with me on. It would have been Tuesday night when some of the parents at our Little League game were saying, "Well, what if it gets too smoky? Should we go inside?" Oh my God! I wish Joe and Pat were with me to hear this right now.
Hey! It's the only time in my life, and I'm being very serious, that nature drove me inside.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I wish that there was a TV station in town that had the balls to put a camera up in Golden Valley at Reusse's house. And when it was time for the weather, they go, "Let's go to weather correspondent Patrick Reusse."
If you got asthma, get in the house and shut up.
God almighty. You know, sure is smoky out, umpire. And he said, "Yeah, play ball." Hell, if you're playing baseball, you can play in a little smoke, for goodness sakes. That canceling those games out. I was fearful that the Wimpy Twins would try. How about our Auroras, by the way?
Who were they?
The
women's soccer team. The
pre-professional soccer team, which is also called amateur by everybody else.
How about
it? They went inside and played inside. They couldn't let their fans. They couldn't risk their fans playing out in that smoky weather.
We're a different generation. We grew up where our parents smoked at the dinner table, in the car, with the windows up, in airplanes. There was smoke everywhere. We know how to deal with it.
And we burnt leaves.
Yeah, tires and trash, and yeah.
Now we're afraid of a little smoke. There's a bonfire up in Canada, and we're supposed to be cheering for our life.
I'm going to have to part ways. It smelled like a plastic factory was on fire.
Really?
Yes.
Go inside, you big wimp.
Yep, I did.
Almighty. Maybe my nasal passages are bad. I don't know, because I didn't notice anything.
Well, were you out jogging, for God's sakes?
No, but I was out with the top down.
Yeah, he was going for the Reusse walk.
Reusse walk.
I did. In fact, I had to kill some time because I had some stuff going on in the house. I was parked out up on top of the hill here in Golden Valley, and with the top down for 30 or 40 minutes. Didn't smell a thing. It was great.
Well, you're out of your mind, because if you didn't smell it, you got a problem.
I don't know.
Well, you've changed, Patrick, because when you used to kill time, that's when we would do radio.
What?
No, you said I had to go kill some time. A term that always would offend the mayor.
Oh, I hated that term.
Yeah.
All right, you going to the ballpark tonight?
I was thinking of these. I was thinking of my radio career the other day. And I would say the low point was when they had you doing 2 hours, and then we did 2 hours together, and then I did 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And we were supposed to do 2 hours of sports. Mm-hmm. And after about 5 minutes, Joe said he had nothing to say about sports. Then we had the sports person of the day, and then we had to go down to one. We had to go down to one sports person. How the hell did we ever last for 6 months?
I don't know.
15 minutes into the show. So what are you watching on TV these days?
What do you want to,
We've never done 2 hours of sports in our life, and we've had sports shows.
No. We've been using the ultimate summer hours on Monday Night Sports Talk lately. We didn't do 2 shows. That's the ultimate sport.
Right. I'll talk to you Monday.
Kenny, wouldn't you say our greatest achievement was that 2 hours was too long in the summer? We only did an hour and a half.
God,
Summer hours, baby.
That was. I can't believe how lucky we were. Seriously, we got paid for that.
What a scam! All right, see you, boys.
Goodbye. I think he was in the recliner today.
You think?
Yeah, he was leaning
Leaning
back.
back.
Well, I know he was typing when I first called him.
Yeah.
I got to file this.
I got to file
this.
All right. We got to take a time out.
When there's smoke in the air, you want to settle down with a nice, cool bottle of water. In a plastic bottle, by the way, and I'm not a hypocrite. I love plastic bottles. So I'm here once again for my friends at Hofferman Water, an independent water treatment dealer. Hofferman Water is the best, and they offer sales, service, and rental options if you happen to be in the market for a rental option for Connecticut water treatment systems. That includes water softeners, iron, rust, and odor filtration systems, and drinking water systems. And that's because a new system from Connecticut can do so many things other water softeners simply cannot do. It will cut down on your salt usage, and it's also going to protect your appliances. You get that new system from Connecticut because we all know bad water can affect almost every aspect of your home. You get it installed, your showers are better, so is your laundry and your drinking water. So get in touch with my friends at Hofferman Water today, 952-894-4040, or visit their website, HoffermanWater.com. I had my Connecticut system installed years ago. It's made an amazing difference in the quality of my water. 952-894-4040. Hofferman Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years. Tell them you heard about them here on the Garage Logic Podcast.
Get your act together. Get your act together for 2024, July, next year. I am leading. Yes, I am leading.
With a charge.
And cruise. Yes. Cruise with Rookie. Find out how loud he snores, what he likes to do in his spare time. When you sail, oh my gosh, to Croatia. You're in Croatia. It's a beautiful, beautiful country. You're ultimate in cruising luxury as you sail the beautiful waters of the Adriatic on the Adriatic King, an 18-cabin motor yacht that offers the perfect blend of simple luxury and spacious
You've
comfort.
never even been on a boat.
I've been on a boat before.
Road safety.
You want to see how I act?
You
just
stay
come
with
with
the
me.
boat?
You come with. You know, Suchi Boy, the other day you were asking where we're going. So Maria sent me the list of where we're going. Split, the home of Diocletian's Palace, which dates back to the 4th century. It's also where the dragon scenes from Game of Thrones were filmed. V's, where Mamma Mia 2 was filmed. Korčula, the birthplace of Marco Polo. And Hvar, incredible nightlife festivals. And Dubrovnik. I say it perfectly. It's known as King's Landing from the Game of Thrones. So it's going to be a blast. Get all the details at escapewithusvacations.com, or I want you to go ahead and pick up the telephone, and I want you to dial this telephone number, 651-788-4338, or go to escapewithusvacations.com. Let's go.
Finally, thank God today is Friday. TGTI Friday. It's the scramble!
Such, I've been planning a road trip for you and I. I'm going to pick you up a couple of days after the 4th of July. We're going to roll down to Iola, Wisconsin. We're going to do a car show there for a day.
Been there, done that.
And then we're going to drive back to southeastern Minnesota and go to a late model race at Deer Creek. So plan for a couple of days, just me and you and the open road.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Listen to this testimonial, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a little experiment here. Dear Kenny, my wife and I road tripping to the American West. As you can imagine, several bugs have tried to get a closer look at me and end up as smears on the windshield. Every morning, I have a ritual. Pull into the gas station. First thing, spray the windshield with Bugs Be Gone. Start pumping the gas. And as the car is filling up, use the squeegee and Viola.
Oh, I love Viola.
The bugs slide right off. Get back in the car. Enjoy the scenery through a crystal clear windshield. You can tell your slimy windshield so long if you use Bugs Be Gone. I love that testimonial. They're currently in Moab, Utah this week. And I'm telling you, just like this GLer did, bugs in the windshield, the grill, the bumper, no big deal with the Bugs Be Gone solution from our pals at Seafoam. It's safe for all finishes, non-toxic, water-based, leaves no film or haze when it dries. Just a happy surface with nary... I just...
Nary?
Can't talk anymore with nary a bug in sight. Just another wonderful product for our vehicles from the fine folks at Seafoam. Christopher.
Quick question, because I see the regular cans of the Seaf everywhere, right? Whether I'm at Quick Trip, whatever.
Yeah.
Is the Bugsby Gone available at all those same spots if I see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
New, and it's a squirt bottle. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Okay, cool.
So I always keep one in the door pocket.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
It was hard to ignore this story. It's made a wide variety of websites. It's the world rankings of the size of the male Johnson.
Hey now! Hey! Dr. Johnson, I presume?
The world Willie rankings.
Come on. No.
I'm not kidding.
Who signed up as volunteers to be...
Let's see, who did this
Those
study?
with confidence. Those who have much confidence.
Who did this study? Researchers did this. Of course, there's always researchers. There was a team of researchers.
Sure.
And they measured the willies in 90 countries.
So, I'm trying to be classy here. At what point during the day do they get measured? Right away in the morning?
Well, that would make a difference. Yeah.
After a nice light jog?
After maybe you were in the pool.
Boy, it's amazing. It was published by the British Urology Journal. It involved 15,000 guys from 3 continents.
Do you get that publication?
I do. And
he's on the mast.
And I have the world rankings right here.
Where are we at?
Well, can you guess what is number one? What country is number one in the world for the size of the willy?
United States of America.
Nope. Welcome to Jamaica. Have a nice day.
Not even close.
Dang it.
What?
No.
Well,
in fact, I'm looking for Jamaica. I don't see it on here.
Why don't you tell us which country has the biggest plum tree shakers?
I'm thinking it's halfway across the world.
Ecuador.
Huh.
Don't tell me.
17.7 inches.
No.
Oh, wait a minute. I read that wrong.
Yeah.
6.9.
Oh, that's...
Dang, she's fine.
That seems below average.
Well, that's your world leader.
Sure is
That's
for
number
me.
one in the world. 6.93.
That's
Ecuador.
Not a very big silent flute, if you ask me.
The U.S. comes in 60th place.
60th?
An inch shorter than Ecuador.
Really?
An inch?
5.35.
I'm offended.
That's the U.S.
We have a caller on the line that wants to know about a certain country.
Costa bleepin' Rica.
Let me see if I have Costa Rica. Nope, I don't. The U.S. is damn near at the bottom. The bottom is Thailand.
You know what the capital of Thailand is, don't you?
No.
Bangkok.
That's in here. And they're down about 4.4.
Okay.
You know, so...
What about the drumsticks right here in Garage Logic? What are we looking at here in Gumption County?
Where would we suit up as a cop?
We're right about with Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Yeah. Italy's not so hot. They're 6th, though. They're 6 inches. Haiti's number 5. Haiti.
Okay.
So they got that going for them.
I'm thinking of our Garage Logic sports team, the GL Giggle Sticks.
The Fighting Wrenches?
So to speak.
Ecuador, Cameroon, Bolivia, Sudan, Haiti, Senegal, Gambia, Cuba, Netherlands, and Zambia are your top 10.
Consulting urologist at King's College London, Gordon Muir, says it means men are measuring their penis size all wrong, as they're trying to obtain unrealistic standards so they may be tempted to fudge results. That's usually because they've only ever seen an erect unit in a porn film.
Well,
some people may think having an 8-inch unit is pretty normal. It's actually well above the average size.
Right, and how are these measured?
I feel a lot better.
From the middle of the back all the way right up to the breastbone.
How are they measured? Carefully.
Maybe they're self-reported, and we don't have to worry about it.
You know,
glad I did that.
The average erect size today marks a step jump from 4.8 inches measured in 92.
Wonder what's happened? Nutrition, maybe?
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
you're going to the actual study?
No, I'm at the Sun. I saw it at the Drudge Report.
You know, only because they come to us all the way from the traveling Lymans.
Speaking of wiggle sticks.
In Fernandina villages where they know something about this.
Where's their average?
I don't know. They're not on there. In 1854,
you mean
on
this day in history?
The steamer Galena arrived in St. Paul. It delivered cholera along with its passengers. Cholera's last occurrence in Minnesota would be in 1873.
Wow.
Cholera. That's an illness, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Featured in the Oregon Trail game, for those of you that have played that are my
On
age.
this day in 1931.
Joe, today is June 16th.
The bones of Minnesota man were uncovered by a road crew near Pelican Rapids. Despite its name, this glacial age human skeleton is likely that of a teenage girl. All right. In 1945, on this day,
616,
the last Navy tanker was built at the Savage Shipyard. The Wassissa is one of 18 ships manufactured there for the war effort. All right. And on this day in 1955,
June 16th,
Mary Grant, the youngest of Sauk Center's fabled Grant sisters, was born. She later played the French horn in venues around the world.
The French horn, I've never
heard of Mary Grant.
I've never heard it called the French horn. I've heard disco stick.
You ever play the flute?
On this day,
practice a lot.
Right.
On this day in 1999, our little terrorist, Kathleen Celaya, a fugitive since 1974, was arrested in St. Paul. She was living under the name Sarah Jane Olson. Celaya was a presumed member of the Symbionese Liberation Army, the group that kidnapped Patty Hearst, and she was wanted for the attempted bombing of 2 police cars. She had been featured on the television show America's Most Wanted a few months before her arrest. I think they nabbed her on the corner of, Pinehurst and Davern or something.
Yeah,
she's our little terrorist. I don't know what's become of her. She has lived a very quiet.
Is she still with us?
I think so. She lived a very quiet existence. Maybe she doesn't even live in Minnesota anymore.
Her husband at one point treated Bob in the emergency room.
Well, her husband was an ER doc.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know where they are now. So,
men with a whopping 11-inch member got 30% of women to reach climax, which is the same proportion for men with a 4-inch unit. Things are looking up for me, huh?
Well, I didn't know you'd study this so well.
Well, I was just looking
paid more attention to a story.
I'm down the rabbit hole, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, GLers.
That ain't no kickstand you got there.
Thank you.
Copy.
Thank you.
Copy. And for more podcasts on unit sizes, you can go to on your smartphone. There probably is one. I'm sure there's some educational podcasts. They can all be found at PodMN on your smartphone. YouTube, I don't even want to tell you what's on the Garage Logic YouTube page. If you want to find out, subscribe yourself to the YouTube page, and you will know. Then, the Town Council, GarageLogic.com. So many special perks for the Town Council, I can't even tell you. One of the perks is a $10 Fred Loney's Hardware and Garden Store gift certificate that you will receive. And you get to eavesdrop on us during the breaks.
Ecuador.
For $10 a month or $100 a year, Garage Logic Town Council with the online shop open right now for the 30th anniversary. See you, Braz Chow.
Ecuador.
Who would have...